It's a new day, so of course new day means new controversies. This time Alex Sandro is in the target of Juventini. Why? Because yesterday in Gazzetta dello Sport we saw that there was a leaked news about an option in his contract for an automatical renewal. I made some calls to understand if yes or no it was true. Is he more likely to stay one more year or to leave at the end of the season? We have to speak about the return on the field of Paul Pogba. Again, a return. Will it be this time the good time? It's time. Yes or no, we'll discuss about that. And then Gianluigi Buffon. Gianluigi Buffon, 50th game in Meazza yesterday, unfortunately not able to qualify in Coppa Italia versus Inter. But what a performance. And how blessed were we to have Il Capitano, Gigi, unico, in our team for so many years. Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel. I hope you're all doing well. Guys, I'm asking you kindly put a maximum of thumbs up on that video. It costs you absolutely nothing, it's totally for free, but it's helping me more than you think. So thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. We start with Gianluigi Buffon. Yesterday I watched him playing, mamma mia. So many emotions, so many memories. Seeing our number 1, number 77, our captain on that field versus Inter in a 80,000 stands stadium that was not full yesterday in Coppa Italia. Makes sense versus Parma, 6th in Serie B. But what was it beautiful to see him diving, and especially at the 91st minute when it was 1-1, saving that shot from Dzeko on his line. Reflexes for a man that is nearly 45. Attenzione. Of course he's older, of course we saw that he was older, but it's always a pleasure. On the other side, disgusting behavior of some Inter fans yesterday that were singing chants against him, insulting him, whistling him. Disgusting. Really disgusting. What a behavior. How are you able to do that? I understand that Buffon represents Juve. I would never, for example, start chants against Zanetti, vice president of Inter, even if absolutely not a player that I particularly like. Absolutely not. I actually dislike Zanetti, but a bit of respect would be needed for some calcio legends. On the other side, a player that I would whistle, of course, it's Lautaro Martinez. Again, even yesterday versus Parma, that Inter, with a lot of starters, were not able to beat. Well, he was diving, simulating, trying to find that penalty, trying to find the yellow card for the opposition. Disgusting behavior. What a disgusting player. Anyway, it is what it is. Gazzetta dello Sport is salva Inter, the one that saved Inter, Acerbi and Lautaro. We go to another topic, Paul Pogba, that is back. It's not the first time that he's back. How many times did we say Pogba at Juventus after signing him, and then he was injured. Pogba is training alone, and then again he had to postpone the return on the field. Pogba this time, yesterday, out of nowhere, and I told you yesterday, out of nowhere you will have the social media manager of Juventus that will come and that will start spoiling and spamming you with a lot of pictures of Pogba, while the journalist will not be 100% sure when he will be back on the field. Does that mean because he started training on Tuesday that he will be there for the big game versus Napoli? No, he will not be there. Will he be there for Coppa Italia? Probably not, because he didn't train the integrality of the training session yesterday, just a part, but enough to give a big smile and a confidence boost to Juve. Juve that this time has always also the result on their side, because it's 8 wins in a row, 8 clean sheets in a row. If you are putting that icing, if you are putting that cherry, and we are speaking about Paul Pogba, mamma mia, that gives even more confidence in our players. Mature one, but also the youth training with Paul Pogba. Guys, I can guarantee you it is something. We want to see him on the field in a real game, and probably we are going towards the bench of Atalanta, or maybe the last game, Monza, on the 29th of January. We can't wait. But another one that we also can't wait to see is Dusan Vlahovic, that yesterday didn't take part with the team, but probably will be there today, this morning. Guys, imagine we are in January, Mercato, that we will talk about in a second, is closed. You add Vlahovic and Pogba, the number 9, the number 10. Guys, hopefully everything going well, but we have to speak about something else. Of course, we have to speak about Alex Sandro, main topic of the video. Well, I made some calls to understand what was right and not regarding the news of the automatical renewal. The first thing that we think, all of us, is Quadrado, that last year he went to 42 appearances, I believe, and that made sure that actually he went over these 40 appearances, and the automatic renewal was there for one more year this year. This will not be the case anymore at the end of the season, where probably with high chances Cuadrado will leave Juventus, as Sky Sport Italia said. At the end of the year, it's over. What about Alex Sandro? Hey, Alex Sandro is a bit younger than Cuadrado. 32 years for the Brazilian, still national team player. We have to say that Alex Sandro, for a lot of us and me as well, is a player that should leave Juventus. We never understood why Juventus never tried to find a replacement on that left side, because playing with four-man defense, Alex Sandro was a player that was not able anymore to go up, to give some offensive support. A player that was tired, that lost his skills, that lost his mental, that was not loved by the players. And we also have to admit that this season Alex Sandro is doing much better in that three-man defense, because we are taking away a lot of runs from him. He's not anymore obliged to give some support upside, not anymore trying to go for the cross. He's paying attention to the defensive side, and it's working. 0 goals conceded. If we are thinking today about the starting lineup in defense, well, we are thinking about the 3 Brazilian ones: Danilo, Bremer, and Alex Sandro. Not Bonucci, not Gatti, not Rugani. Alex Sandro. Is that enough to continue next year? No. We need to find a replacement, and on the left side, as a four-man defense, a real left back, and even a center defender that is able to play with his left foot, so that we can switch during the season between a 3-man and a 4-man defense. Now, speaking with some sources, they told me that at the moment, even if it's true that clause exists, there are no contact between the player and the management. Juventus is not going towards Alex Sandro entourage to start speaking about it, to try to understand already if there is a possibility maybe to even extend 2 years with Alex Sandro, so that they lowered his salary, because his salary is quite high. No, Juventus has the intention, the idea of stopping with Alex Sandro at the end of the season. Does that mean that the Allegri will stopping him to play in games? At the moment, we have no choice. At the moment, we are at -7 versus Napoli, and we don't know how the game of Napoli will end. We are running behind, so the men that are in form are playing. Is it a risk? Probably yes, in terms of mercato, but we need all our men without thinking about this contract. At the end of the year, we see. Then, automatic renewal doesn't mean that Alex Sandro will stay as a sub. Doesn't mean that Juventus needs to keep him if he wants to leave. So Juventus is already looking for some replacement. So at the moment, except of some news, yes, the clause exists, but at the moment the parts, they are already thinking about another future. And I hope that I reassured you. Doesn't mean, guys, we will not see Alex Sandro next season. Could be, but tranquilly. Anyway, we speak about Rabiot, that we were all thinking that he would leave Juventus. Even Tuttosport is reporting what I'm trying to tell you since a few days. There is still the possibility. Why not renewing a difficult one, really challenging one? But it's not over. It is absolutely not over. He will be the priority for Juventus to extend his contract, because of course you are not paying a new player, and you keep more or less the same salary that you are paying, with 1 million more, 1 million less. He will be the number one. Depending on the answer of Adrien Rabiot for next season, well, then we will try to look for alternatives. But Allegri will be key in that. If he stays, there are more chances that Rabiot go with a positive attitude in that meeting. If he leaves, well, probably he will leave. So let me know, guys. What do you do? Rabiot with Allegri, or no Allegri and then no Rabiot? Or Allegri, no Rabiot? Let me know the combination, whatever. But if it's not going through, we are looking for alternatives. One of them is probably Rodrigo de Paul, that a lot of people are reporting now that wants to come back in Serie A with Juventus on the player. Juventus is even trying for a creative solution. 18 months on loan with an obligation to buy, or maybe 6 months with an option to buy. Anyway, Juventus is looking into that player. What does that mean? One has to leave. Who is the one that can leave? Probably Weston McKennie. I made a video about it yesterday. I don't know if you watched it. So Weston McKennie probably leaving, De Paul possibly entering, but only if there is no chances with Rabiot. Otherwise, it would make totally no sense. Why? Because De Paul is someone from an international career. if you bring him, he's already to start preparing the future, because you know that Rabiot will play 6 months and will leave. Rabiot leaving, Paredes leaving, McKennie leaving, so you're already thinking, if you are able to close Adrien Rabiot and have some positive signs, probably De Paul will not come. I don't believe that De Paul will arrive in January, then everything can happen, because the dream remains Milinkovic-Savic if Rabiot doesn't extend. He will not renew, and some people are even saying that Sarri said, you know what, let him go, even in January. Guys, they're speaking about Mercato of January, about midfielders, big midfielders. Milinkovic-Savic, De Paul, what about Rabiot extending, and so on and so on. So Juventus wants to solidify and making our midfield even stronger for the future. Why? Because around these pioneers, you have these next-gen players that are growing and try to insert themselves. Speaking about Paredes, he will not renew, but anyway, he's starting to press to have a starting role versus Napoli, so pay attention. And we finish with Tuttosport that he thinks something super important. If the game versus Napoli was not important enough in terms of ranking, well, the game of Napoli could potentially bring you also some spirit, some ambitions, some ideas for the Mercato. If you are at -4, because you won at the Maradona Stadium, that will be full 60,620 people, if Juventus is able to win it beyond -4, that opens the door to try to invest some money to compete for that Scudetto race. If we are at -10, Juventus will be a bit more cautious. Who are the players that Juventus is still looking for? Is the right side, priority on the right side. We are speaking a lot about midfielders, but the right side is a priority. Who are there? Well, we have Cambiaso, our player that is now on loan in Bologna, Male from Atalanta, there is Fresneda, but also Kivior, the player from Spezia, that is actually a player that is able to play in the center of the defense. So Kivior is the only player that is not playing on the right side, but also Juventus is paying attention to it. Why? Maybe to go back to the four-man defense, thinking about the Pogba, the Di Maria, the Chiesa, all of them on the field playing in that 4-3-3 or 3-4-3, who knows. So Juventus is thinking about that, guys. Put a maximum of like, let me know what you think about it. I'm really curious to read your opinion. Then we will come back on the rest of the video, maybe with a second video today. Let me know, I'm curious. Grazie, forza, Juve.